Oh, I'm going off that clock, sorry.
Oh, that says 4:05.
Okay,
Oh, I'm on.
well, we'll call the meeting to order. Our first agenda item is public comments.
I don't have any.
You don't have any, okay. Well, if we have no public comments, we'll move on. The October, November meeting minutes.
Those are going to be sent electronically.
Okay,
They are lengthy.
all right, then I'll make a motion that we be allowed to approve them electronically.
Second it.
All righty. So we move on to item 4. Develop a plan to make city facilities fully ADA compliant.
Yes.
And we're supposed to brainstorm that. And we're supposed to bring specific addresses.
I'm ready to write.
MLK Pool on Jackson Street, W.O. Stevens Pool on, I'm not sure whether it's Playground Road or road changes names.
What specifically about either, if you have specifics?
I do have specifics.
Okay,
There is no button to open the doors.
okay,
The bathrooms will not accommodate a wheelchair
okay.
in either location. In fact, to get into W.L. Stevens, you have to go around to the back side of the building. Somebody has to come out there, unlock the gate, open the gate, and then you have to drive your little wheelchair in.
Yeah.
Hello?
Those bathrooms aren't there's no accessible stall in the bathrooms there.
Okay.
I'm sort of pleased to report that the Herbert Hazel Pool, the oldest one in the city, really is pretty ADA compliant. It has a family shower. The only thing, it would be nice if it had a button on the bathroom door.
Annette raised her hand.
I'm sorry, I can't figure out how to raise my hand.
Annette raised her hand. I don't know if you just.
Annette raised her hand, but
I think Marco.
Yeah, I can't figure
So-
out. I'll wait my turn. I have something to add, but I can't
Okay,
find how to
good.
raise my
you
hand.
keep going. Let's get the proper list.
That's all I have is those 3.
Okay,
Like I said, the Herbert Hazel is really pretty much compliant. It just I'd like to see a button on the family door and on the doors to the men's shower and women's shower. Yes, Annette.
Yeah, 2 things. First, Marka, to raise your hand, you look at the heart-shaped symbol with react underneath it, and there should be the option for raising your hand.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and then my address is right there at the Gilliard Auditorium. We need at least 1 bathroom with a push-button entrance.
What did she say?
she wants 1 bathroom here to have a push button entrance.
That would be nice.
Yeah, the one that's
And it would
closest.
be nice if the push button opened both sets of doors here.
There
It
are,
does. Oh, no, it's never going to. Sorry, you're out of luck on that one.
there are 2 separate buttons to get in, though.
Okay,
Marco also says all streets around College of Charleston. I don't know if you see this.
Yes, thank you. There is really dangerous access all around the city in that area. And Janet, I think if you remember, I sent you video of
Yep.
I think Calhoun and St. Philip, I think it was, where I almost got
Coming.
hit by a car going down a curb cut that's not cut
Yeah.
properly because of the bricks. So I feel very strongly, we're right down in the center of the city and that should be addressed.
Yeah, that intersection's bad. It's like steep cuts at the very corner there.
I,
Too.
uh,
And she is the public allowed to talk in this. She works at CFC and she's an issue. Okay.
Ron can tell you if you can talk.
You had something to add to it.
Yes.
What was that? Okay.
I work at College of Charleston at the Disability Center, and I can attest all about College of Charleston needs a major look at. That intersection, but a lot of intersections around College of Charleston.
Have you had the opportunity to talk with Steve Bell?
Yes, and does my director regularly.
Okay,
And we went on a accessibility security walk, and there's a lot of processes they have to go through. So maybe if you guys come in from the city angle, I don't know, I just know Marcus very, very correct. And we tell students all, potential students all the time to go walk around campus and see if it's accessible to you. We don't tell them, but we highly stress how they need to walk campus or walk campus. But yes, I was even fearful when Michael had his a little wheelchair because the bricks were so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, take your life in your hands.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
I understand.
I will be quiet. I could go on for a while.
I had two issues or two
Okay.
addresses.
I'm ready.
Vanderhorst Street, right at the Charleston Water System building headquarters. There is actually, it's a disabled street parking, but if you're in a van, there's a big stump right in the way where the ramp.
Where your lift
Where your
would be.
ramp
Yeah,
goes out.
so when we park there, get me out and then pull into the space, but
That, good, thank you. What else?
that and the corner of St. Andrews and Sycamore, if that is city. One of them is the new flat, easy to press sort of crossing, but on the other side, it's a pretty old round ball that only you have to like really, I press it like 5 times to make sure it's.
Okay.
It
So,
needs to be updated, I feel.
okay,
And also around there, some brush on the sidewalks to be nice to be clear.
more on St. Andrews or
Sycamore.
on Sycamore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably has your hand raised.
Can you hear? Lately,
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Daisy. Yeah, I wanted to say that I was riding the bus and when I was using a walker, there was no way to get around on the cement there. I had to constantly pick it up. And then there wasn't, and then for as a deaf person, I was ringing the bell, but I wasn't actually sure if the bell was ringing and no one seemed to hear me. So there wasn't really a way,
it's a good point.
yeah, for on the alley, Sally, excuse me, for me to be able to do that and access that. So that would be on Palmetto, at the Palmetto City activity center and park on 1069 King Street.
And 16, okay. Thank you for
Mhm.
the address. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, I'm going to make a clarification.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry. And so she was saying on the doorbell or the bell,
Yeah.
it had someone would say, "Yes, how can I help you?" But as a deaf person, I can't answer that in order to get in. And so unless they have a video or something where I can sign to them and show that I'm deaf, they won't come to the door because they're asking who needs to come in.
What business is that? Please.
Yes, it's called the Palmetto City Activity Center Partnership.
Thank you.
Yeah, they help assist with power bills, white water bills, that kind of thing. It's a place that assists.
Got it.
No
Thanks.
problem.
Annette and Mark still have their hands
Whose hand's that?
Annette and Marco still have their hands raised.
Okay, Annette, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to revisit the Gilliard. I know I said at least one bathroom with the push buttons for independent entry. I would like to amend that to say at least one bathroom on every level that has wheelchair seating. So not just the ground level, but the next level up, because that would be the orchestra seating for the Gilliard, and then at least one level up, because I know they usually provide wheelchair seating on like the first, I guess it's the mezzanine or whatever. So I shouldn't have to take elevators to go down to the lowest level of the Gilliard in order to go to the bathroom, and then have to travel all the way up to get back to my seat in the theater.
I've got it clearly written down
Thank you.
on every level with wheelchair seating.
There's another level, I think it's the dress, the one below the top. They don't have any wheelchair accessible, they don't have any bathrooms on that level, so they shouldn't even have they just don't have wheelchair seating on that section, I feel.
Yeah.
So,
I was in the dress circle.
Yeah.
For an event about a month ago. It was super high up.
I didn't hear what you said.
I was in the dress circle, which is that top level, for an event about a month ago. I didn't even know there was wheelchair accessible seating up there, but I think the next level down would have restrooms there.
Gotcha. I'll check into that.
I did, if there wasn't anyone else online that had one.
Are there any more hands raised online?
Just Annette.
Annette, you're up.
She just said that, so she may not have.
No, I'm sorry, I forgot to put my hand down.
Okay.
There.
So one for me is the intersection of Bees Ferry and Highway 61. There's a button for the crosswalk, but it's hard for me to reach. So there could be one like that could be put on a pole closer to the sidewalk.
Got
I
it.
think it's connected to the traffic light pole right now. But if it could be moved out a little bit, that would be helpful.
Got it. Anything else?
And then, not really related to improvements, but I went to the Paul's Signature event space off of Faber.
Oh, God,
And,
I'm so sorry.
It was
That's awful.
It was a challenge. They did have a ramp, which I was grateful for, but I was kind of surprised they didn't renovate that to make seems like they have enough space in their lobby to make a ramp entrance, so.
Just as you look at their front door, to the left, there is a ramp. Did you not find that?
No, for the place on paper,
Yeah.
they had to pull out a portable ramp. So.
They may have changed it. They may have repurposed my ramp. I've seen people do that before. Husk repurposed my ramp. So, who's got a hand?
Marka.
Okay,
Was it?
Marka?
Marker, you're up.
Thank you. I think kind of what I'm getting at is that it doesn't matter what buildings are accessible if we can't get to them.
Granted. That's
So,
why I'm asking for addresses.
yeah, but I think all we need to do, I think, I understand. But so also downtown, I went to the music hall the other night and getting around King and John Street, Ann Street, one point, a while back, my caster got caught in the curb cut at King and John, and I was thrown into into oncoming traffic, a man who was trying to turn right on a red light and almost hit me. So all of that area is terribly dangerous.
Tell me about that more. So the post from your chair that you use when it clicks in when you're driving, right?
No, I'm talking about in my wheelchair.
Yeah, that's what I mean too.
Yeah, in my wheelchair, I was coming from King Street going towards Calhoun Street. Coming down the curb cut, my caster, front caster, got
Caster.
caught in the uneven pavement, cementing, I can't even remember now what's theirs, it's brick, whatever it is there. And I fell out of my chair into the street. I was supposed to the pedestrian right of way, but there was somebody coming down John Street and wanted to turn right onto King Street. And as I fell down, they didn't quite see me, and somebody had to bang on the hood of their car to say stop, otherwise they would have hit me. Because the curb cut is not safe. And this is
Did you
all,
notice that were cracked, Marka?
at this point, I don't remember because I have spent so much time going down different curb cuts downtown. I don't remember which are like, some are brick and the bricks are all unlevel and some are cracks. I apologize, I don't remember.
No, that's okay. I was just trying to understand what you experienced.
Yeah, it was definitely an uneven curb cut.
And this was probably on the John Street side of King Street, right?
It was at the corner, I don't know, north and east, but it was the corner opposite the music hall.
Okay.
And what's the restaurant on the corner? I can't think of it now.
Well, Rue de Jean is close by there.
Yes, so it's not the Rue de Jean side of the street, it's the other side of the street.
Got it.
At the corner of John and King.
Thank you.
That's the hall side.
No, thank you.
It's the northeast corner.
That
Gotcha.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Others, do we have any hands up?
Jane has her hand up.
Jane,
Hi, thank you. One thing just to go off of what Marcus said, I wonder if this might be part of the problem. I've noticed downtown when I'm in my wheelchair as well with the curb cuts is many times the bumps, if there are bumps that they put down for those who are hard of seeing, that they will be in the wrong direction. And so when they use the curb cut and they'll put the curb cut down, they won't have the bumps in the right direction. And so the wheels will then go in the wrong direction. And then you will go into traffic the wrong way. So they install the curb cut incorrectly.
I will look into that. Thank you.
Of course.
anybody else have anything? Nice easy list for the city. Should be able to clean it up in 30 days. Wow. Okay. The next thing we need to do with that list is you're gonna type it all out nice and pretty.
I will type it all up accurately.
Actually, it'll be like minutes, yes.
I'm not gonna do it nice and pretty.
And then at the next meeting, we'll prioritize it and we will set up a time to meet with city council,
Yeah.
not just one member, but the entire council at a city council meeting to present what we feel needs to be addressed so that we can start on this process of making Charleston truly an ADA compliant city.
As I look at the calendar, would you like to aim, put it together in January? And then we should get a city council, we should get a time after that?
Right,
Okay,
yeah, for February or March.
okay.
Marco has her hand raised.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I would also, when we meet with city council, I would like to propose that we invite them for an afternoon out around Charleston in a wheelchair. And I have a funny feeling that some of us could get with PHC and get some wheelchairs provided so that council members could participate in that event, so they know firsthand what it's like to be in a wheelchair in the city of
I
Charleston.
second that motion. Let them go in, try to get in the bathrooms, try to get in the stalls because the doors aren't spring loaded, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, it's challenging to get in and out of a bathroom stall if it's not spring loaded.
We could have them start at George Street, and all they need to do is try to use the bathrooms and roll on the carpet within the Gilliard, and then take them for a trip from the Gilliard to Saffron's. And some of the committee members know what it's like to access that by having to go right down into the street because the sidewalks are not accessible.
Yeah, that's one of the problems. If your front casters get caught, it'll spin you right around. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I want to make sure I speak so that folks on Zoom can hear me. Am I just speak this loudly? Or I didn't know whether or not there are microphones I need to be cognizant of or anything.
Well, there's those.
Okay.
So
Oh,
project.
just
Yeah,
project,
just,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, this is Mika Gadsden. I'm a special advisor to Mayor Cogswell. And this is my first in-person commission meeting. So thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for.
I'm thrilled you're here.
Yeah, yes. But that last suggestion was an awesome suggestion. And I'd like to first know more about how engaging city council has gone historically for this group. And then I'd like to know whether or not anyone here or listening, or even those who weren't able to attend today, will be amenable to meeting with Mayor Cogswell and other staff members at the mayor's office so that your concerns can be articulated. And I mean this in an intentional and meaningful way. One of the reasons why I'm here is because I've identified accessibility as an issue. And I was charged with finding an issue that is not directly under my purview to address. And this is something that's near and dear to my heart for personal reasons, but also because it's the right thing to do. And so I'd like to learn more, of course, about what leadership has already, your leadership on this is already, it's in place, and I don't want to overstep, but I do want to help as much as possible in trying to correct some of these very, very frustrating and I mean, the frustrating is not even sufficient, but I really would like to help remedy some of these issues. But I'd love to know more about how you've engaged city council and the mayor.
We have invited the mayor and city council, not this mayor.
Yes, this mayor
council.
too.
Yeah, okay.
I would use the term numerous
Okay.
times. No one has ever showed up.
Logan showed up,
Did Logan show up?
maybe not Logan, Deja McMillan showed up over Zoom. Like,
Over
the
Zoom,
beginning
that's
of the
right, it was
year.
not in person. Deja showed up over Zoom.
Deja showed up over Zoom.
And she's also sent me some additional information.
Okay.
Okay, but to your point.
So that's kind of where we are. I feel as the chairman of the ADA Commission that although the city in most places are compliant, in other words, they met the exact letter of the law, but definitely not the intent of the law. And I don't know what the most frustrating thing is, whether it's getting in or out of the bathroom or trying to get out on the sidewalk and get your casters caught, or trying to get in buildings and out of buildings. For this one here, press the button outside and the door's open, you got plenty of time. You get inside, you press it, and you gotta back up real quick. Problem with that is if there's any people with you or people coming in behind you, you just ran them over.
Jane and Annette both have their hands raised. Jane had hers up first.
Jane was first. Jane, you're up.
Thank you so much. And Mika, thank you so much. I've been a fan for a while with the Charleston Activist Network, so thanks for being here. And I would definitely be interested in attending and definitely talking and being heard for the disability community. I know, I think that'd be really interesting if they'd be willing to hear us out. I also, in addition to what Marco was saying about, we've talked about, like a day sitting in a wheelchair downtown. I think another thing that we could add, if anyone was interested, I have a mobility service dog. He is a mobility aid. I think one thing that would be really interesting is like also maybe even adding a service dog to that is like a day in a wheelchair and a service dog. I have been denied in the past month. I don't know what's going on in Charleston. I've been denied access with my service dog. That's against the ADA law. I have been, for some reason, like denied access with Ubers. People are canceling rides because of my wheelchair, because of my dog. I've been denied into establishments. And so I also think that that would be because when you have a dog and when you have a mobility aid, it's just so hard to get around in the city. It just takes up a lot of space. And so I think that would be also really interesting.
Where exactly were you denied with your dog?
So here's the thing.
Whole list, please.
So I'm working on it with my, I don't want to name the business because it's a minority owned business and it's a small business and I don't want to penalize them. I'm trying to use it as like a learning opportunity for them. So I'm working on it with my service dog company and we're using it as like a learning opportunity for them. So I'm going to give them one more shot. But I'm trying not to penalize them.
Jane, just let me give you a quick, this is Janet, and
Yeah.
from several years ago when the Rainbow Market was open is when this happened, just to give you a time.
Please, yeah.
I had a visitor from out of town who was asked to leave because she had a service dog. She called me and she was very unhappy. And I asked her what she'd like me to do because the city doesn't actually enforce the ADA. Only the Department of Justice can enforce the ADA. But the complainant asked me to please take a flyer from the Department of Justice, present it to the owner of the establishment, get their signature on it that they received it, and let her know that. And that's what I did at the time. That seemed to work pretty well. I don't want to, neither do I want to punish any business. Almost always, if this happens, It's based in, they didn't know.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of complaints that I get from a fair housing perspective where kids attending schools around here have brought their pets with them and they call them comfort dogs.
Yeah.
And they assume they can go everywhere that service dogs can, but they cannot. So the law is very clear on it, and I'm happy if you ever want me to go to the business,
Okay.
I'm happy to do it. I've done it before. I'll be happy to do it again.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's really, really, thank you. That's actually very helpful to know.
Good.
Thank you.
Who is next?
Annette.
Annette, you're up.
Okay, back to your, I think that was a wonderful back and forth between Jane and Mika and Janet. But Ron, your earlier ask was what's more important? Is it the bathroom access, outside door access? It comes back to something that I've spoken to before. Whenever somebody does any changes to their building or business, they have to have a permit in order to do it. The city has requirements in order to qualify for permits in terms of electrical, in terms of fire, in terms of water. I would like to see the city adopt the same kind of list of requirements in order to permit that would make sure that the business or the building or whatever reconfiguring is also ADA compliant. So in terms of entrances and push buttons and the whole issue of wonderful that you can push a button and get a speaker, but then what happens for someone like Daisy? Those kind of things, that list could be adopted as well by the city. Because, you know, as you say, Janet, sometimes it's because the business or whatever don't know. That punch list could also help inform those repairs or building or whatever's being done.
Annette, in February, we have arranged for the second in charge of the building officials, so the deputy chief building official, to come talk with us.
Wonderful.
What we use for electrical inspections is the building code book, and that's what is currently used also for the ADA.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it is really used. And they're odd little things, little caveats that were built into the law so that if you're remodeling a building that exists, you only have to use 20% to make an ADA change that you can't, in other words, they can't require that someone put in a whole elevator or make the second floor accessible if that person chooses to use the 20% in another legitimate way. So there are some wonky laws that go hand in glove with existing buildings. Your point in general is spot on, but there are some wonky things.
Well, my whole thing is I want proof that even that 20% is being done.
Well, the building officials do get proof of 20% actually. They're pretty good about doing that, but they don't just share that with us because that's a private matter of a individual private business and what they're investing into their building. It must be a FOIA, but we would have to request it. In other words, I can't just ask to know that. We would have to FOIA that.
Well, we may not have a lot of leverage over business, but still over public buildings and public properties, we should be able to hold to a better standard. I mean, those issues that are at the Gilliard, in terms of the carpet, in terms of the push button to the bathrooms, were from before the place even opened, we had to roll through. And that's where the double foyer entrance, needing to put a second push button to get in the second set of doors to access the full building. That's the only reason why those were put in, was because we pointed it out.
Yeah, absolutely. it was invaluable.
Yeah.
I do have to go back to the carpet concept though, because I realize it's hard to push the carpet, but the carpet is technically ADA compliant.
Yeah, but there's a spirit of the law and there's a letter of the law. And again,
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you at all on that, just.
but again, to put the council members, like was just suggested, in wheelchairs and let them experience that, then they can see what is allowed to kind of sneak through.
It didn't sneak though. It was legitimately okay.
But what I'm saying is
Okay.
that they, how do I put it? Trying to find the right words. Unless you have to use it, you don't pay as close attention to it. Okay, this technically checks that box, we can go on. Rather than, before all this was done, again, to consult folk who are actually users about, does this actually work?
Sort of similar to that, if I can interject real quick, I had an idea, Mika, for working with the city is being proactive with, especially with a lot of new public works and projects happening, like the pier and the bridge being built across the Ashley for pedestrian access. You know, they're probably meeting EDA standard like we're talking about, but there's now, you know, universal design principles, and there's design principles that a new building in a new project can have a lot easier time to enact than existing thing with the 20% rule. And especially, you know, it could be, you know, mayor's always looking to pump up his city, and the value of Charleston is a old friggin' city, but it is doing the most with this new projects to make it accessible.
I was gonna add on to that as well with, Charleston is touted as one of the most tourist city, and people love to come here. So want to make sure that city council and the mayor understand that not only for tourists, but also for those who live here, we want to make things accessible. And I'd be interested and willing to speak with them as well to just show the day-to-day life of someone living with a disability, and what we can do to help them make the city more accessible.
Yes.
Marka has her hand raised.
Marka has her hand raised.
Oh,
Oh,
Martha, go ahead.
thank you. I just want to piggyback on what Annette said and what Alex said. And I think, you know, in dealing with the laws, we're looking at things that were decided 35 plus years ago at this point. And I guess, is this commission going to present to council? Are we going to be the mediocre minimalist of what's required? Or are we going to truly become an accessible city by going the extra mile? And I don't think it's a lot to ask when the Gilliard, and I think the reason that we had that walkthrough was because I was stuck during a fire alarm at the first Spoleto dance event, and there was no way for me to get out of there. There was no fire plan, and there were so many issues, and that's how that first meeting came about. And things were not changed. The fact that the Gilliard was built to the minimal standards and the amount of money that was spent, to me, is still appalling. Nobody took into account, nobody brought in a wheelchair user to look at that building before final details were held. Doors that were supposed to be adjusted, like bathroom doors, I still cannot open a bathroom door by myself when we were told that the hydraulics was going to be adjusted. That still has not changed. Every time I go to the Gilliard, I have to ask for help getting into a bathroom.
Changed 7 times and it goes back.
So I think as a group, are we going to accept the mediocrity, or are we going to truly try to make this city something special?
Well,
that's all I have to say. Thanks.
It's my goal and desire to move from the minimum to the intent, of the law.
Thank you.
So, I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be difficult. And the reason why it's gonna be difficult, I don't think it's gonna be difficult because of the money. Some issues are gonna be difficult because of money, but most issues are gonna be difficult because people are gonna say, I don't know why we need that. And that's why I love the idea of the wheelchairs and the walkers. Here you go, guys. You got 24 hours. You have to use this. Your only means. There's a friend of mine who, and I'm trying to find a place in Charleston to do it, set up a dinner, and it was a fundraiser. And when you walked in the door, you took this paper out of a hat. And whatever the paper said, you had to do. It might say that you can't move your arms. It might say that you have to be in a wheelchair. It might say that you're deaf, or blind. And it's called an empathy dinner. And that's what they have to do all night long.
I love that.
Think
That's
about it. It's a great
that's
idea.
awesome.
Annette has her hand raised.
Annette?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on the earlier discussions and especially Alex's comments. I would hope it would not need to go and like rub people's noses in it, but to join them and say, Charleston wants to be a first-class city for tourism, wants to be a first-class city for business, and that we're getting increasing numbers of retirees coming and moving here and living here. Everybody, we need to help folks remember that everybody is going to age. And with age comes various forms of diminishing ability. And every person will be needing some form of accommodation at one point in their life. So that this isn't just, I don't want to say just about those of us currently in the disability community, but that all of us at one point or another are going to be in some way, shape, or form in the disability community. And maybe to appeal to their enlightened self-interest, why this is important. It may be their aging mother and father coming down. It may be themselves. It may be a coworker, but everybody is going to have to deal with this. And that's why it's important to be addressing this proactively rather than reactively.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to thank you, Annette, for saying that. I hope I did not come across as I was being reactive. I'm trying to be proactive in what I'm saying. So thank you, Annette.
Hand raised.
Jane,
Who's that?
Jane.
Jane. Go ahead, Jane.
Thank you. I love what everyone is saying, and I really think like what we're coming towards is like maybe one unifying message in that storytelling is really powerful. And I think like when it comes down to it, what Annette is saying is so true, and that, you know, when we speak to, we hope that we can speak to politicians in the city and say like, yes, we all age. And ableism is the one ism that unfortunately that is, you know, as I just, you know, published this book that I researched for years. It's the one ism that is like truly overlooked right now in this world. And I think like we do need to look at that and say like it will most likely be overlooked, whether people realize they're looking at it or not. And so I think maybe we do like a dinner, we do a day in the life sitting in a wheelchair, and we do storytelling, whether that's through written pieces, through the Post and Courier, whether that's through social media, whether that's through, you know, I think like that's where I can help. That's where a couple people we can use and pull on strings here. But this is like such a strong city, and disability looks and feels so different for everybody. And there's so much intersectionality within disability. And I think that's where the storytelling is so powerful. And so I'd love to help with the storytelling piece there. But I think if we kind of all used all of these ideas, that's where this becomes so powerful.
Marnique has her hand raised and posted a question in the chat.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Did you?
Marnique.
Hi.
We can't hear you.
Coming off mute, but it's a lot of noise in my background. I was wondering, you know, my background's in occupational therapy and we study ADA a little bit. But the extra mile that we often talk about is universal design. And in Nashville, we partnered, the Vanderbilt Kennedy Society, which I was a part of, partnered with the Nashville Civic Design Center. And we had a conversation about ways that we can use or leverage their design plan, because they're, you know, hired to be the forward-thinking architect design people for a city. And so when you're thinking about like third spaces or free spaces or you know, greenways, if there are any, and places for recreation and you know, things that would connect parts of town to another before they're the people who kind of get that idea and they start planning. And so we started talking to them because they're looking at things 25 years ahead. And you know, the things that we're looking at right now, if we try to like race to fix, we may be racing to fix something that's present today, but not looking future forward. And so I just wonder if we have had any historically, you know, had any conversations with anybody with Charleston Civic Design Center on, I think I looked up Calhoun Street. And I put their director name in the chat in case anybody, you know, recognizes their name. But that's something that we were looking at for the Nashville Next Plan. And we had a few seats in their meetings that where we can, you know, raise hands. And that's just another idea for a forum or a platform for opportunity.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Marnique, that was an excellent question and also observation. I appreciated hearing what, you know, your experiences or your observations from other areas, other municipalities. By virtue of some of the jobs I've led or some of the tasks I've been on, I've worked rather closely with Morgan on a host of city-led initiatives and capital projects. I'd love to facilitate, or at least ask some initial questions and perhaps create a bridge there. I think that's an excellent question, is to see whether or not the Civic Design Center has ever created perhaps some sort of or has compiled some sort of analysis for accessibility. So Morgan definitely runs point there. You have Emily Pinkston there as well. And what Morgan just notified me, or she just informed us this week, they're getting an intern soon. And I think there might be some capacity there for that intern to perhaps maybe start helping us get some answers and figure out maybe some next steps on how to engage the CDC. So I'd love to look into that. I could personally commit to that if that's something the commission would find beneficial.
We would. And I think we've about talked this issue to death for the evening. So we're gonna move on to the next agenda item. That would be you, Alex.
So we'll be talking about our second annual Americans with Disabilities Act anniversary celebration, which will be, we haven't set a date yet, but the actual anniversary is July 26th every year. So that is a Saturday this year. Don't know if we want to have it on a Saturday, or last year we had it on think Friday.
I think it was a Friday, I think.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It was on the 24th last year, so whatever.
It probably was a Friday because we didn't have the commission meeting
Right.
That's right.
that month.
So, yeah. So we had it on a Friday last year, but we can talk about a date for that, the week of leading into the anniversary or having it actually on the anniversary. Last year, we had it at the new Park Circle Community Center, which was a nice venue. It was connected to the accessible playground that's there. It would be nice to have the event there again. I know that Charleston County Parks offered their facility as well.
But they're okay doing it anywhere.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, they'll do it anywhere.
So I would like to have it again at North Charleston Park Circle, having venues, having the mayors there. So Mayor of Charleston, Mayor of North Charleston, and making it an event to showcase accessibility and awareness and inclusion. So those are the basics of the event. For those who were not there last year, we had about 8 nonprofit organizations there. Everything from Ilderton Conversions to accessibility to, I'm leaving out for a lot of people, but
Charleston Disability Board.
Disabilities
is
Board.
there.
National Federation of the Blind.
Yeah.
Yes, so we've had a lot of people who are on this call.
Amy's group too.
Yeah, Amy's group was there. So we want to double the number of vendors there and have food and all of that sort of thing, and put together a little program to just showcase accessibility in Charleston. So if everyone is agreeable to that, I can start reserving a date. If we want to do it that Saturday, the 26th, we can make it happen then. I'll check with the Park Circle folks.
See if you will, check when you're at the next county parks group, see if Saturday will suit them.
Okay,
They may have trouble getting people to come on Saturday.
I'll check with them. I was emailing Nick Epps today. He's works with Steve Hutton.
Got it, okay.
But I can confirm if they're
Yeah,
available.
just
then.
make sure that they don't have a problem with that.
So.
They're a very good partner. I don't wanna.
Do we have a motion to set this in place?
So want to make a motion to move forward with planning for our second annual event. I'll take the motion.
Second? Anybody second it?
Second it, Michelle.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. If you both say nay. All right.
All right. So
Annette's hand is up.
Pardon?
Annette has raised her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Annette.
Yeah, as we're talking about dates, my question is, I was not able to make it last year because I was in the hospital. What was the attendance like on a Friday?
for our first event, it was kind of small. I would say 20 to, no, probably 40 to 50 people.
Yeah.
It was sort of a drop-in event, so people came and went, so they weren't all there at the same time.
May I make a suggestion that if at all possible, we do it on the Saturday? More people will be available. When you do it, in the middle of the day, on a Friday, so many people are working. Yes, the various businesses and groups will be able to send folk, but everyday folk who might really benefit from seeing about those resources may not be able to come because it's a work day.
Absolutely. Yeah, last year or earlier this year, we did it. It was 3 to 7 or something like that. But we had more people coming in the.
We were scheduling around the speaker too.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that was the other issue. The speaker we had earlier this year was speaking at my job earlier in the day, and then I had to come over to the park to do that. So it was sort of a lot happening all in one day. But for a Saturday event, there will definitely be more availability, hopefully, for the community to come out. I would definitely love to get more media there. We had a small media presence, but want to get more coverage of the event overall.
Daisy has a question.
Yes, Daisy.
Yes, I just wanted to say I appreciate it and wish I could be there, but I will not be able to make it that week. I'll be on vacation for my birthday. So I'm missing it the second year in a row, but I just wanted you all to know that I'm sad that I won't be able to make it.
Sorry, like, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Right. Thank you.
So I'll begin working on those plans, and we'll keep everyone updated on details.
I have a question for the city.
What's the question? I don't know if I have an answer, but if I can, I'll get you one if I don't have it.
Can we get the city to expend us a few funds to purchase snacks, etc.?
That is in the plan.
Okay,
And on that note, I can get with Publix to get, need to get us officially
Register.
registered.
We waited too late last year to do it, so, but I can work on that as well.
It was very seat of our pants last year.
Yeah.
That's okay. We still did it.
All right, anything else on that? Okay, next on the list, you're up, Janet.
ADA coordinator, when I send out the minutes, I will include tentative things for next year, like the January meeting, we'll prep presentation to give to council, and we'll be able to schedule that for February or March. In February, we're gonna have Gary Pope. This is all tentative, so I'm speaking in the positive, but it's tentative. Gary Pope, who is second in charge building official, will come talk with us about their process. In March, I will have the transition plan update complete with a number of push buttons and where they're needed to go in. I'm also looking at an assistive listening concept for the people that use hearing aids. They're called T-coils. I think I'm very ignorant about this now, but I've got to look into it more, where we can put a wire system in an auditorium like the Dock Street, and then people can hear with their hearing aids instead of not missing stuff. So I'm looking at that for March. Also, April, I'd like to finish up the planning for July, because it always takes longer than you think it's going to. And we need to get on the mayor's calendars to make sure that we're on that. May, I think I will ask Morgan Gunlatch if she will join us. She's delightful. Y'all will enjoy her a lot. She does sometimes have too much going on because she's so delightful. I have nothing scheduled in June, but I'm open for input. In July, we have our celebration. And June, we may need to do press things for the celebration in July. So that's sort of where I am at the moment. Personally, my office is going to focus on building community this year. The community building will be with, I'm working now with Charleston County voters about accessibility. I'm working with Charleston County Parks. And there's also a road safety plan that I'm working with systems within the city to make sure that they're all on track. And fortunately, the PROAG, which is the public right-of-way accessibility guideline that's been in the works for 10 years, but it was just adopted, I'm gonna say yesterday, but it might have been the day before, by the US Department of Transportation. So now we have concrete standards, pardon the pun, there. So I'm working with that. So there'll be community outreach for 2025 seems to be the way I'm headed. Does anybody have any further questions for me, for example?
Nope.
Okay. That's my report.
Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for January 17th. My requests for our meetings are that people come to the meetings physically instead of Zooming if possible. I understand that sometimes you have to Zoom, I get that. But I don't want Zoom to become the way that we do the meetings all the time. Because it's much easier, and I think we get more done in person than we do Zooming.
Marco has her hand raised.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I hate to say this, but I don't think that's fair to ask, because there's some of us who just sometimes cannot get to the meetings.
I understand that.
But to say,
I understand
it's
that. If
almost
you
like
can't-
saying,
you can't get to the meeting, then I understand that you can't get to the meeting. But I don't want us to think about Zoom first and in person second.
well, for some of us, it is Zoom first, and that's
Yeah,
just the way it has to be.
And I understand
So,
that.
okay, I'm sorry, maybe I'm being a little reactive this time,
Yeah,
but
because my last few has been from the hospital bed in the hospital, so I was just glad to be able to attend. Period. So
yeah, so I don't think I think that if we could be there, those of us who are not would be there if we could.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
I have one other
Any
thing.
sort of follow-on plan for next steps, with the things we took today, or?
Yes, I thought I said that, but maybe I didn't. Janet's gonna put the list together. And then next month, we will look at prioritizing it so that when we present it to the city council and the mayor, that, we have some kind of priority on it.
Right.
Because we don't want them just to take low-hanging fruit, because that's quick and easy.
Marco had something else to say.
Mark has something else to say.
Yes.
I thought she did.
Well, excuse me, this is Michelle. I will say that, Janet, what you have proposed sounds very good. And definitely giving us some positive ways forward in which to get our interest and our needs out to the community. So I'm really excited about 2025.
Hopefully we will get there
We will.
soon.
It always rolls around.
Yep. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to fix everything in the world, but we can try. Anybody else have anything? Entertain a motion.
Make motion to adjourn.
All right, we're adjourned.
Happy holidays, all.
Yes, happy holidays to everyone. Be safe.
Happy holidays, everyone. Be
Careful.
safe.
Holidays.
Same to you all.
Stay off the
Thank
roads.
you.
There's crazy maniacs out there behind the wheel.
Was Barney here? No. Okay. But Daisy was.
I think.
Yes,
It's like.
Was Troy?
right. Yeah.
We still had a good number.